So with that, we got some exciting speakers tonight. The first up is Nate Root from Capgemini. Nate Root is a credentialed actuary. Has been serving actuarial functions, working in technology and insurance in the commercial space for the last 20 years, and is currently with Capgemini leading the insurance data organization. So with that, I'll turn over to Nate.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Jim. All right, so I can keep going. So I want to talk about, Jim hit on one side of the data that's going on in insurance, because there's really two tails of data. And when I was thinking about this, I was inspired by the best of times, worst of times, and thought about it's really a tale of two datas, but that's really two separate cities, and this is really actually all one thing that's all connected. So it's really two tales of data. And what's going on is, on this side, this one tail, is the incredibly attractive, very innovative and pulling pieces that are going on in insurance. So I've been in insurance for a couple decades. I've seen multiple changes in the innovation, quote unquote innovation, that's been going through for data. Some of that innovation has ended up over here in the legacy. Inman, Kimball were innovative and they're now legacy. But wanted to give a sense as to where is the industry in its current setup, sort of like where are the 2 feet? Where's the foot that's in the future and where's the foot that's in the legacy, and how do those really two things play into each other? Because they're incredibly important within an insurance carrier, and how they come together is a little bit different in insurance than it is in other industries. Some things are similar. Moving to the cloud. So insurance carriers are very focused on how much it's costing to run their data centers, how much it is costing to ingest all that information, and they're very interested in how do they leverage the cloud just from a purely cost perspective. But it opens up all of the third-party data sources that are coming in, which is an explosion of information that's out there for richer analytics, providing that better customer service, and really taking insurance beyond taking money for risk to pay claims. Because fundamentally, that's what an insurance company does, right? Evaluates the risk, brings in some money, and then pays the claims that result from that. Well, from the third-party data that's out there can really accelerate the information that a carrier has about that risk or about that claim. That is unbelievably attractive. If you're an underwriter sitting inside of an insurance company and you have an ability to get much more information about that risk without having to ask the agent to then go ask the insured, or to go ask the insured, or to go to 9 or 10 different places to go get it, that's incredibly attractive. The next layer of attractiveness that would sit on top of that is, what are some algorithms that can then tell you information about that risk that are meaningful to you as an underwriter, not to replace you, but to partner with you. So that's in the commercial space, that's one of the really, really valuable pieces that's going on. It's carried over though with the legacy that is sitting there. So inside of an insurance carrier, there's multiple silos of information that are really pulling data together. I was talking earlier with somebody I've worked with before about how there are silos that just sit inside of a company because they don't necessarily relate to each other. If you're writing accountants and another group is writing lawyers, those two data sets don't necessarily need to relate to each other because they're not a common customer base. But it does mean that if you want to make some changes and you want to make some consistency and you've got 10 different data sources that you need to work with, that can really hold you back. This other challenge of matching carrier and third-party data. So yes, you can bring in all this new third-party information, but how do you actually link it up to the person or the business that you are writing? That can be a large challenge. With people, individuals, it's a little bit easier because there's some good unique identifiers that are out there. But with businesses, that can be a significant challenge. You're looking at a particular property, what business does that go with? If it's a building, there could be 20, 30, 50 businesses inside that one building on different floors. They may have been there last month, but they're not there this month. How does all that factor in? So there's these two different worlds that are going on. And one of the really important pieces of this legacy world is this core management information. So inside of an insurance company, the reports that talk about what's my production this month, what is my policy count this month, what are the claims that came in this week, what are the claims that came in yesterday. That's incredibly valuable information, but it's kind of boring, right? I mean, it's a report, but that report is very valuable across the company, and how that information is governed and what those things all mean to each other is something that's nuanced and difficult inside of an insurance company. But if it's not resolved, going over here and trying to do things faster when it's not resolved, it can be a significant challenge, which is why it comes in this middle piece of it's about how the people are working together. So the DevOps and the data ops, so DevOps and data ops, they've come to insurance a little bit later, much like a lot of things that happen in insurance. They happen in manufacturing and retail and services before they get to insurance, which is the nature of the insurance industry. And DevOps and data ops are like that. And it's not about the tooling, it's not about the technology, it's about how do the people work together? How do actuaries and data scientists and underwriters and IT and partners all work together to advance this? Is about the people transformation, much less about which technology are you actually selecting. So these are some of the states that are going on within insurance companies and sort of these two tails of data. And just as a quick flavor, these are some of the projects that we've worked on that have worked all the way from establishing a data governance model, which is incredibly valuable and difficult about people, but has a lot of tooling underneath, all the way over to a more modern cloud data, hybrid data lake. So insurance carriers are doing all of these different pieces for different reasons. So it's not a one size fits all. So those are the two tails of data. Yeah, are we doing questions now or? T? Yep.
No, have you noticed in your practice if in different businesses, like for instance Life or PNC, they have different maturity levels as far as where they are with the data?
Yeah, definitely.
And how would you explain that, the differences between?
So yeah, definitely there's different maturity levels across the industries. The personal lines carriers are more advanced because they're able to leverage a lot of the consumer information. So things that have come over from retail, that information is related to people, which means your consumer information is going to be a little bit better. So the personal, whether it's homeowners or auto, is more advanced on that. When you get into commercial, you get high variability in the commercial. The commercial carriers are in different stages depending on the nature of the carrier. Life insurance is lagging behind all of those, and then health is somewhere in the middle. Because health has people, right? So you get a lot of that rich data from people, but it has tremendous regulation around it. So you get a hybrid in there.
Great. Is there any more questions? Oh, one more.
As it pertains to like data quality, because that's really kind of my background is governance and data quality. Do you see companies approaching it differently than they have in traditional governance, whereas you're not getting much into like analytics on the cloud spectrum?
Yeah, so on the data quality in particular, taking machine learning, back on the other page, taking machine learning and AI to actually do data quality analysis on large data sets, both the internal and the external data sets, is something that's rapidly emerging, where you might have to rely on experts who know that data to look at it. That would have been the way to do it before, to basically have somebody look at it field by field to write significant business rules over and over again to evaluate a data set. Doing machine learning on top of that and having the machine work with a person to train it on what looks like quality data and what looks like outlier data, and then turn it loose on the rest of the data, that's something that's significantly emerging, especially as carriers want to evaluate a third-party data set and they want to be able to do it quickly, and they might not have the experience with it.
Is there any other questions? All right, let's hear it for Nate.